Hello, grade 6. Our lesson today is about equations and inequalities. Solutions of equations. An equation is a statement that two mathematical expressions are equal. These are examples of equations. 8 plus 12 equals 20, 14 equals a minus 3, 2 times d equals 14. A solution of an equation is the value of a variable that makes an equation true. X plus 3 equals 5. X equals 2 is the solution of the equation because 2 plus 3 equals 5. Unlock the problem. In the 2009-2010 season, the women's basketball team of Duke University lost 5 of their 29 games. The equation W plus 5 equals 29 can be used to find the team's number of wins W. Determine whether W equals 14 or W equals 24 is a solution of the equation, and tell what the solution means. Use substitution to determine the solution. Check whether W equals 14 is a solution. Write the equation W plus 5 equals 29 and substitute 14 for W. 14 plus 5 is equal to 19. 19 is different than 29. Now check whether W equals 24 is a solution. After writing the equation W plus 5 equals 29, substitute 24 for W. 24 plus 5 is equal to 29. The equation is true when W equals 24, so W equals 24 is a solution. Determine whether the given value of the variable is the solution of the equation. X minus 0.7 equals 4.3 for x equals 3.6. Write the equation. X minus 0.7 equals 4.3. Substitute the given value for the variable. Is 3.6 minus 0.7 equal to 4.3? Subtract, write equals or different than. 3.6 minus 0.7 is equal to 2.9. 2.9 is different than 4.3. The equation is not true when x equals 3.6, so x equals 3.6 is not a solution. The 6th grade class president serves a term of 8 months. Janice has already served 5 months of her term as class president. The equation m plus 5 equals 8 can be used to determine the number of months m Janice has left. Use mental math to find the solution of the equation. Think, what number plus 5 is equal to 8? 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. Use substitution to check whether m equals 3 is a solution. Write the equation. M plus 5 equals 8. Substitute the given value for the variable. Is 3 plus 5 equal to 8? Add, write equals or different than. 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. The equation is true when x equals 3, so x equals 3 is a solution. Write equations. You can use what you know about writing algebraic expressions to help you write algebraic equations. A circus recently spent $1,650 on new trapezes. The trapezes cost $275 each. Write an equation that could be used to find the number of trapezes T that the circus bought. Write an equation for the situation. The cost per trapeze is 275 times the number of trapezes, which is T, is equal to the total cost, which is 1,650. So the equation is 275 times T equals 1,650. Ben is making a recipe for salsa that calls for 3½ cups of tomatoes. He chops 4 tomatoes, which fill 2 1/4 cups. Write an equation that could be used to find out how many more cups Ben needs. Think. The number of cups filled plus the number of cups needed equals the total cups for recipe. The number of cups filled is 2 1 over 4. The number of cups needed is unknown, so it is C. The equation is then 2 1 over 4 plus C equals 3.5. Solve addition and subtraction equations. If you add or subtract the same number from both sides of an equation, the two sides will remain equal. 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. If I subtract 4 from both sides of the equation, the answer is 3 in both sides. Unlock the problem. The longest distance jumped on a pogo stick is 23 miles. Emilio has jumped 5 miles on a pogo stick. The equation d plus 5 equals 23 can be used to find the remaining distance d in miles he must jump to match the record. Solve the equation and explain what the solution means. To get d by itself, you must undo the addition by 5. Operations that undo each other are called inverse operations. Subtracting 5 is the inverse operation of adding 5. Let's write the equation. D plus 5 equals 23. Now use the subtraction property of equality and subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. D plus 5 minus 5 equals 23 minus 5. Now let's subtract. D plus 0 equals 18. Use the identity property of addition. D equals 18. So, the solution means that Emilio must jump 18 more miles. Solve each equation. 16 plus x equals 42. To get x by itself, I need to subtract 16 from both sides of the equation. X equals 26. Y plus 6.2 equals 9.1. To get y by itself, I need to subtract 6.2 from both sides of the equation. Y equals 2.9. M plus 3 over 5 equals 7 over 10. To get m by itself, I need to subtract 3 over 5 from both sides of the equation. M equals 1 over 10. 12 equals x minus 24. To get x by itself, I need to add 24 to both sides of the equation. X equals 36. 25.3 equals w minus 14.9. To get w by itself, I need to add 14.9 to both sides of the equation. W equals 40.2. Solve multiplication and division equations. If you divide or multiply both sides of an equation by the same non-zero number, the two sides will remain equal. 2 times 6 is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 6. 2 times 6 over 6 equals 12 over 6. 1 times 6 is equal to 6. 6 equals 6. Unlock the problem. May ran 14 laps around the track for a total of 4,200 meters. The equation 14d equals 4,200 can be used to find the distance d in meters she ran in each lap. Solve the equation and explain what the solution means. To get d by itself, you must undo the multiplication by 14. Dividing by 14 is the inverse operation of multiplying by 14. Let's write the equation. 14 times d equals 4,200. Use the division property of equality. 14 times d over 14 equals 4,200 over 14. Now let's divide. 1 times d, since we simplify the 14 in the numerator and the denominator of the first side, equals 300. Use the identity property of multiplication. D equals 300. So, the solution means that May ran 300 meters in each lap. Solve each equation. 2 over 3 times n equals 1 over 4. To get n by itself, I must divide both sides by 2 over 3. Remember, dividing by 2 over 3 is the same as multiplying by 3 over 2. N equals 3 over 8. 1.3 equals c over 4. To get c by itself, I must multiply both sides by 4. c equals 5.2. 2.8 equals 4 times t. To get t by itself, we must divide both sides by 4. t equals 0.7. 25 equals a over 3. To get a by itself, I must multiply both sides by 3. a equals 75. Problem solving equations with fractions. You can change an equation involving a fraction to an equation involving only whole numbers. To do so, multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator of the fraction. Unlock the problem. On canoe trips, people sometimes carry their canoes between bodies of water. Maps for canoeing use a unit of length called a rod to show distances. Victoria and Mick carry their canoe 40 rods. The equation 40 equals 2 over 11 times d can be used to find the distance d in yards that they carried the canoe. How many yards did they carry the canoe? Write the equation. 40 equals 2 over 11 times d. Multiply both sides by the denominator. 11 times 40 equals 2 over 11d times 11. Multiply. 440 equals 2d. Use the division property of equality. 440 over 2 equals 2 times d over 2. Since here I want to get d by itself, I have to divide by 2. Divide. 220 equals d. So Victoria and Mick carried their canoe 220 yards. If an equation contains more than one fraction, you can change it to an equation involving only whole numbers by multiplying both sides of the equation by the product of the denominators of the fractions. Unlock the problem. Trevor is making 2 over 3 of a recipe for chicken noodle soup. He adds half a cup of chopped celery. The equation 2 over 3 times c equals 1 over 2 can be used to find the number of cups c of chopped celery in the original recipe. How many cups of chopped celery does this original recipe call for? Write the equation. 2 over 3 times c equals 1 over 2. The product of the denominators is 6. Multiply both sides by 6. 2 over 3 times c times 6 equals 1 over 2 times 6. Now let's multiply. 6 times 2 is equal to 12 over 3. The answer is 4. So 4c equals 6 over 2, which is equal to 3. 4c equals 3. Use the division property of equality. Now to get c by itself, I need to divide by 4. 4c over 4 equals 3 over 4. Divide. c equals 3 over 4. So the original recipe calls for 3 over 4 cup of chopped celery. Solutions of inequalities. An inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares two expressions using the symbol less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or different than. These are examples of inequalities. 8 less than 11, 9 greater than negative 4, a less than or equal to 50. A solution of an inequality is a value of a variable that makes the inequality true. Inequalities can have more than one solution. Unlock the problem. A library has books from the Middle Ages. The books are more than 650 years old. The inequality A greater than 650 represents the possible ages A in years of the books. Determine whether A equals 678 is a solution of the inequality and tell what the solution means. Let's write the inequality. 8 greater than 650. Substitute 678 for A. Is 678 greater than 650? Compare the values. 678 is greater than 650. The inequality is true when A equals 678. So A equals 678 is a solution. Unlock the problem. An airplane can hold no more than 416 passengers. The inequality P less than or equal to 416 represents the possible number of passengers P on the airplane, where P is a whole number. Give two solutions of the inequality and tell what the solutions mean. Think. The solutions of the inequality are whole numbers less than or equal to 416. P equals 200 is a solution because 200 is less than 416. P equals 250 is a solution because 250 is less than 416. These solutions mean that the number of passengers on the plane could be 200 or 250. Determine whether the given value of the variable is a solution of the inequality. A greater than or equal to negative 6 for A equals 3. 3 is greater than negative 6, so A equals 3 is a solution. D less than negative 0.52 for D equals negative 0.51. Negative 0.51 is greater than negative 0.52, so D equals negative 0.51 is not a solution. T greater than or equal to 2 over 3, T equals 3 over 4. A common denominator is 12. 2 over 3 is equal to 8 over 12, while 3 over 4 is equal to 9 over 12. 9 over 12 is greater than 8 over 12, so 3 over 4 is greater than 2 over 3. T equals 3 over 4 is a solution. Write inequalities. You can use what you know about writing equations to help you write inequalities. Unlock the problem. The highest temperature ever recorded at the South Pole was 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Write an inequality to show that the temperature T in degrees Fahrenheit at the South Pole is less than or equal to 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Write an inequality for the situation. The temperature T is less than or equal to 8 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the inequality we must write because, as stated in the problem, the highest temperature ever recorded, so the greatest temperature ever recorded, is 8 degrees Fahrenheit. So the temperature must be less than or equal to 8 degrees Fahrenheit. So an inequality that describes the temperature T in degrees Fahrenheit at the South Pole is T less than or equal to 8. Write an inequality for the word sentence. Tell what type of numbers the variable in the inequality can represent. The elevation E is greater than or equal to 15 meters. The inequality here is E greater than or equal to 15, where E is any number. A passenger's age, A, must be more than 4 years. The inequality here is A greater than 4, where A is a positive number, because age cannot be a negative number. A children's roller coaster is limited to riders whose height is at least 30 inches, so it must be 30 inches or more, and at most 48 inches, so it must be also 48 inches or less. Write two inequalities that represent the height age of riders for the roller coaster. Age greater than or equal to 30 and age less than or equal to 48 are the inequalities we must write. Match the inequality with the word sentence it represents. Are more than 10. Walter sold more than 10 stickers. As less than or equal to 10. No more than 10 people can be seated at a table. No more means that it is less than or equal to 10. T greater than or equal to 10. At least 10 people need to sign up for the class. At least means 10 or more. W less than 10, fewer than 10 children are at the party. Thank you. That's it for now.